Well, g'day. Working in far north Queensland. Got a bit of time, so I thought I'd go through something which is bloody important. But have you ever noticed pilots, in particular you notice on my little private planes, that before they hop in their aircraft, they walk around the aircraft, they feel their props, feel the sides of their wings, they look at every skerrick to that plane to make sure there's nothing out of sorts. Because once they're up in that sky, they're on their own. But we need to do that whilst we're on the ground as well. And whilst we're in the army, or when I was in the army, we had a thing we called a first parade and a last parade. First parade of the vehicle, to go around and make sure there's nothing out of sorts and everything was okay. And when we arrived at a location, we'd last parade the vehicle before we did anything else to ensure again there was nothing out of sorts. I'll explain the whole process of that in this video, because what you got here is a caravan that you've invested a lot of money in. And particularly if you're living full time in this vehicle and on this van, you don't want anything going wrong. And if you do, you want to catch it at its earliest convenience. So the next 10 minutes, as I said, I'm going to rock and roll through some basic techniques to keep you guys out of trouble. Well, let's start at the front. Let's start at the tow ball. We've got a D30 hitch, the old ball hitch, doesn't matter. How's she looking? All looking tight, your top nuts okay. Move down to your chains, make sure they're not damaged too much. You got a hitch, ensuring that all your pins are okay. Let's get to your electricals. Your 12 pin and your Anderson. Grey Anderson, you might have a couple of Andersons, a red Anderson as well. Have a look in there, give it a bit of a blow. So I can see here's a couple of spider webs because we've set up here for a couple of weeks. Get them out, making sure that all your pins are nicely spread. Making sure there's no frayed wires all the way down to the connection. Then look at your grey Anderson plug. Making sure it's clean inside there and the cabling is okay. It's looking good. Put it in a bag and wrap it up. That's important. Also got your safety brake. Is it all in good serviceable condition? Making sure it is. And your handbrake. Is there enough tension on your handbrake for when you need to use it? If not, you'll need to adjust that. If you don't know how to adjust it, get yourself a mechanic. Let's move by our wheels. Now if you're a single axle, not quite difficult to see whether you've got a low tyre or low pressure. If you're really running dual axles, get yourself your hammer, the one you use to put your pegs in. Probably seen truckies do it. Give them a bit of a bump, see how they're feeling. They feel firm and they've got a good bounce on them, you know they're okay. Also, look around your wheel to see if there's any leaks, to know whether your hub's leaking or not. And if you're pulling up, doesn't matter if you're pulling up for a coffee whilst you're driving, not a bad idea to feel your hubs to make sure they're not super hot. There's going to be a bit of warmth there, but if you're feeling they're super hot, that means there's friction. That means your bearings are having a bit of a problem. You might need them either re-greased, meaning repacked. You might need a new set. So if you get yourself in a habit of when you're pulling up, give your tyres a bit of a tap with a hammer. Don't kick them with your foot because your foot will just bounce off. And feel your hubs. Look for leaks. Now we're going to do a visual. Like I said with the pilots, they go around, they feel their aircraft. Fall in love with your caravan. Let's come with me as we do a visual. Again, starting at the front. Have a look at your A-frame, your drawbar. Let's look at our taps, making sure they're okay. No loose cargo in the cargo bin. Have a look at these gas cylinders. Make sure they're secure. Making sure everything's nice and tight, because you might have pulled up. Some kid might have had a play with them. You don't want to lose gas. ensuring that all your cupboards are tight. I've got these unlocked. Make sure your screws are in. I've heard they can vibrate. Check out your windows. Window frame's looking alright. As you're looking across at your antenna, ensuring it's down and tight. You've got your caps. Make sure you got your caps on your fuel, your water tanks. A nice visual. Moving back to your grey water acceptance. And that's my inlet as well down there on the right. Giving it a good looking over. Checking your rear tyre. Making sure it's on and it's secure. And going to your canopy on the front on the side. Bottom line is, you want to make sure everything is secure and nothing's out of place. How's your battery boxes looking? Are they secure? Get on. Have a look. Making sure there's nothing hanging. And again, on the inside of your wheels, look for any leakage of grease or oil. Nothing's hanging, you know things are right. If you got things hanging, you need to investigate even further. Now once you've gone over your whole vehicle, I can explain to you now what this first parade and last parade means. You went on a convoy and you're cruising around. Before you headed off, it's like any vehicle. Even in city life, you'd hand it to the mechanic and get a safety check done it. Make sure everything's right. Imagine doing that with a 40,000 strong fleet of vehicles. So we were taught ourselves to go over the basic maintenance of a vehicle, make sure things were right and set to head off on a long journey. Then you could go. But the reason why you could go is because you'd already done your last parade. It's probably more important than anything. Last parade is normally when you turn up to a location where you park your vehicle for the night, or you go off and have a cup of coffee. You go over that vehicle and look for anything out of the ordinary. You found a fault, you had the opportunity before you took off the next day to get it fixed. Whether you needed parts or needed a mechanic on it. But if you miss out on that last parade at night, and you're up in the morning ready to head off with the rest of the troops, what have you done again? Piss poor performance. Prior preparation you required. So look after yourself as you're doing it. And if you're not handy, have some faith in yourself and have a bit of a fiddle around. You don't have to be a mechanic. I'm no mechanic. You don't have to be a carpenter or an engineer, electrician, whatever. But minor little things you can sort yourself with a little bit of skill. If you don't know how to do it, get onto YouTube. I think it's the best tech college out there. Anyway, I'm sure this video has been good for you newbies out there, or not so newbies. Look after yourself, look after your equipment, and stay travelling.